Why, hello folks. This is a quick farming guide to let you know how to best go about farming for Voruna and all of her signature weapons and making this as smooth sailing as possible. So, first up, just, so we're clear on this, the location for farming her stuff is on Lua. The new nodes, Uvarium and Circulus, one is low level and one is high level, that have slightly different drop rates. You get better drop rates for the parts if you play the high level mission. So if you can play the high level mission, you should play that one. Otherwise, the low level one is fine. What's also important to note is that you can play these missions on Steel Path as well. I haven't done that yet, but I will. And I will explain to you why that could also be a good method. What makes this farm a bit different from other farms is that you can't only get her stuff from playing these survival missions. You can also go to the Zariman, to Cryosleep, to go to Archimedean Yonta, who has a new store that she didn't have before. Now, if you're at Yonta store, you can trade for Lua Thraxplasm to get all the stuff from here. So these are all the drops from these missions. Voruna and her component parts, the Perigalis Serafang and their component parts, a nice capture scene and some arcanes. Now, this resource, Lua Thraxplasm, is a drop from Thrax enemies that you encounter in these survival missions, and also a set reward for hitting the breakpoints, like the 5-minute mark, the 10-minute mark, the 50-minute mark, the 20-minute mark. You just get Lua Thraxplasm as well. You can, in theory, just get Lua Thraxplasm and buy everything from Yonta. Now this is where the Steel Path comes in, because the amount of Thraxplasm you get as a set reward for hitting the 5, 10, 15 and 20-minute marks differ between which nodes you play. If you play normal Uvarium, the Conjunction Survival level 25 to 30, you get 3 Thraxplasm. If you play Circulus, you get 5. If you play Uvarium on Steel Path, you also get 5. And if you play Circulus on Steel Path, you get 6. So if you play Circulus on Steel Path, you will earn Thraxplasm at twice the rate from these rewards as you would from playing Uvarium, the low level one. So you are effectively cutting down your farming time by playing the high level missions if you are capable of doing so. If you're not capable of doing so, well then just, you stick to the lower level ones, and it's fine. It's still not the end of the world. You still get Thraxplasm from killing the Thrax enemies as well, at like a 30% drop chance or something. So how much Thraxplasm do you need? Well, Reddit user Bewildered Fox put up a handy guide showing the different values for it. It's not just for buying the stuff from Yonta store, you also need Thraxplasm for crafting some stuff, like crafting the different Voruna parts. In total, you're gonna need about 2,500 Thraxplasm for everything. However, Bewildered Fox did not account for the fact that you might want 2 Vorunas. One for yourself to play with, and one to chuck into the helmet system to get her Subsume ability. Voruna is 475 Thraxplasm to buy all the stuff, so in total, you would need 3,010 Thraxplasm to completely clean out Yonta's store. But it's not just Thraxplasm, right? Because you can also get her parts just from playing the missions. The wiki has already put up a drop table with the drop rates. So you have the A rotation, B rotation, and C rotation rewards. And these are at different minute breakpoints, and they follow the typical A, B, C rotation that all survival missions usually follow. Which means at the 5-minute mark, you get a reward from the A rotation table. At the 10-minute mark, you get another reward from the A rotation table. At the 15-minute mark, you get a reward from the B rotation table. And at the 20-minute mark, you get a reward from the C rotation table. And then it just goes back to the beginning. The A rotation has the blueprints for the Perigal and the Sarofang. So that's what you can get at the 5-minute mark and the 10-minute mark. The 15-minute mark is where you can get the components for the Perigal and the Sarofang. And at the 20-minute mark is where you can get one of Voruna's parts, either the blueprint or the system's chassis or neuroptics. Now obviously if you're struggling with these missions or you don't want to go too high level, what that means is you actually don't need to stay longer than 20 minutes. When you get to the 20-minute reward, you can just extract from the mission and start over again, because otherwise if you stay in the mission it's just going to rotate back to the beginning and you'd have to wait to the 40-minute mark until you have another chance for one of Voruna's parts. But if you want to level stuff up or just farm focus or something, I guess you can just stay for as long as you want in these missions. So knowing all this, the most effective way to farm for all of Voruna's stuff is to simply do this. You have your table with the 3010 Thrax Plasm that you need to get everything. Whenever you play these survival missions and you get one of the parts, you simply subtract that value from the total amount of Thrax Plasm you need. If you find another piece, you just subtract that value from the total amount of Thrax Plasm you need. And then, when you have exactly the same amount of Thrax Plasm as you need to clean out the store, you go to Yonta, you buy all her stuff, and then you're done. Then you're done with the Voruna farm and these missions. So say, for example, that you've played these missions a bunch of times, now you have a couple of the parts, so now you only need maybe 2,300 Thrax Plasm instead of 3,000. And at this point, maybe you have 2,300 Thrax Plasm. That's great. Then you're done. You just go and buy the rest, and you're all good to go. Now, this is actually one of the nicer farms that DE has put out. The fact that you can just buy the whatever you didn't get. It's sort of reminiscent of how they handled Operation Orphix Venom, back for you people who were there and remember that. So it honestly shouldn't take you all that long. It's a pretty nice, smooth farm, and you don't have that frustration of just playing the mission over and over again and not getting the parts you want, like for example farming for Korra. Now, if you don't get the parts you want, you can just go and buy them. And that's it, people. That is the farming guide. That is all you need to know for the most efficient way of getting Voruna. And just playing these missions. These drop tables aren't bad, so you're also gonna get like a bunch of Neo relics and Axii relics just in passing for doing this. You will also get a ton of focus, a ton of affinity, the great farming spots these missions. So just go do it, go level up a bunch of stuff and get that Voruna. And I will see you guys tomorrow for something completely different.